Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How are you, Bo?
I'm doing so well. It's so good to see you.
You too. Are you ready for a classic?
I am. This is one that we've had in the tank.
Oh, we've been dying.
We've been ready. Yeah, we've been ready for this one.
Honestly, these are our favorite ones to do because, we learn about each other through these. Mm-hmm. And, we're talking about our picks, our personal picks for perfect EPs / 7 inches, whatever that may mean.
Not demos.
No demos. And you know what? I didn't do any splits either.
I did one split, but It's a gimme.
So, I just want to preface this with something.
Yeah.
We fell into this role as the guys that are putting you onto stuff, We don't claim to be any kind of authority on what makes these things good or you having to like them.
No.
These are just the stuff we like as the hosts of this program.
And what's fun, I don't know, if when you were compiling your list, I found it was really easy because they're so short that it's just like, yeah, this fucking rocks.
So here was my challenge for myself, Bo. I didn't tell you this yet.
Okay.
I didn't look up a single thing.
Oh, really?
My challenge to myself for this one was top of my head.
Interesting. So
EPs I can think of that I think are amazing.
I had a couple surprises because some of them are considered EPs when I would have thought they were LPs, and then the inverse. So I didn't want some yokel in the fucking comment section being like, actually, that's a full length. That's a long.
See, I feel that way about things though.
I'm with you, but if it says EP,
I put a couple picks in mine that I could also argue are LPs. Okay.
Yeah. One, I'm sure we have a couple crossover, and one I was like, what? And it became an immediate like, well, that's going on the list. Like, it would have been a go-to. So you posted a tweet about this topic and said that it's a lost art. And I think that that's actually a really important thing.
And there's reasons behind that because for labels, it costs the same amount of money, basically. It's a negligible amount between a 7-inch and a 12-inch. So why spend the same amount of money for something that can A, fit more songs,
right?
B, more beautifully display the gorgeous packaging.
Right.
But I do think, and here's the perils of an EP. They get forgotten.
Yeah.
They get lost amongst the discography. If the songs don't get re-recorded or put on something else or bonus tracks on something, if those songs are just dedicated EP songs, it's kind of assumed that they're like lesser material.
Dude, good point. Valid point. And there was a time in the early 2000s, at least when I was actively started and like got into hardcore, where like that wasn't the case, where it was like stop and think, put two demos together. You know what I mean? Like it was like a full length. It was almost like a full length was like daunting. Like it was too much or something.
I would say in the 2000s, the 7-inch was always better than the LP.
King. And that's probably why
amazing demo, perfect 7-inch, pretty good LP.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why probably why I'm so partial to EPs and 7 inches. I love a 7-inch.
It's for hardcore music, it's hard to argue that a 7-inch or an EP isn't the perfect way to digest this form of music. Like 4 or 5 great songs of 4 or 5 great hardcore songs is crazy.
And sometimes way more.
7 or 8 perfect hardcore
that
songs
are like, and the whole thing, I don't want to spoil, but one of mine, I couldn't believe the length of time. Yeah. And it's okay.
Let's get into it. What's your first pick?
My first pick. Should I go? I'm just going to go with a classic. It's the Minor Threat.
So that's filler.
It's filler.
Right?
Yeah. There's two EPs for Minor Threat technically. This is not an original. This is the recent Discord repress and the first 6, but it's like true to like how it was made and everything. We got filler. I don't want to hear it. Seeing Red, Straight Edge.
Straight Edge, yeah.
Small Man, Big Mouth, Screaming at a Wall, Bottle Violence, and Minor Threat.
So
1981.
Here's the thing. I know that I'm like the spin kick 25 to life guy on the show, But this is what it's all about.
Dude, I mean, this 1981. It's fucking
That's the same year as fucking Discharge EP, which influenced everything, you know?
Yeah.
And Straight Edge, dude.
Yeah, Straight Edge is on there.
I'd be literally dead without this thing. I'd be in Connecticut, passed out, dead.
It says, here's an important part, something we talk about all the time, the liner notes. It says, thanks to Henry, Skip, Don, Nathan, Dodie, Richard, and the Bad Brains.
There it is.
There
and
it
then
is.
You go, who are the Bad Brains?
Who are the Bad Brains? Boom.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's why I want to do this one first, is because, and for me, this was one of the first, I've talked about this before. Blink-182 had a home video, a VHS, and Tom DeLonge just rattles off a bunch of bands that he liked growing up, and Minor Threat was one of them that stuck in my head. This was one of the first, and then finding out that they were part of the Straight Edge, or the Straight Edge thing, there you go. You know, it was all.
So they were not a formative thing for me at all.
They were very, very, because then
I
there
found
was,
Earth Crisis long before I found Minor Threat.
which is, I think that's the cool yin yang of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was into skateboarding and like pop punk essentially at the time.
Yeah.
Found this and it all clicked.
And I, going back to that and being like, okay, what is this Minor Threat band that the singer of Pressure keeps talking about? I got to check them out. And then it all made sense to me. And now I celebrate the Out of Step, dude, in my eyes.
Unbelievable.
I celebrate it all.
Unbelievable. And true DIY. Discord 01.
And like carried that philosophy to this day.
Or I'm sorry, Discord 03. Because Teen Idols was first, something else, and then this. Unbelievable. Huge.
Did they you said they have 2 EPs?
Yeah, the Salad Days EP is another one.
Are In My Eyes and Out of Step not
That is
EPs?
on Out of Step, which I believe is an LP. And this is where we get into the kind of the quagmire.
This is going to happen.
Yes.
It's like, what's an EP? What's an LP? And that's the fun part.
And I could be totally wrong about stuff. I'm literally only going on what's on Discogs. So if Discogs is wrong,
Sure. I'm going to be wrong about stuff because, again, I did this off top.
We did this in 45 minutes.
Yeah. My first pick, Bo.
Yes, sir.
25 to Life, keeping it real. You all laugh, you all smirk, you all wince. But man, there's a reason. You look up old 25 to Life flyers and stuff. It was like 25 to Life, big font, top of the flyer. Hatebreed, Marauder, Madball.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Ran shit. But maybe Rick made those flyers. That is possible. But also, dude, Why Is It a Game? Short Fuse. These are perfect hardcore songs.
Okay, so I also wanted to ask you before, I should have asked before we did this, but you're going to mention bands that have been on our underrated bands and best breakdown playlist. Okay, good. I did too.
I think this is a different conversation.
Total different thing.
And I think a lot of the time, some of these EPs are the best things these bands ever wrote.
No.
And I think that's an important thing to clarify.
No argument.
And I think Keeping It Real it was tough. It was a toss-up between Keeping It Real, Strength, or Unity, obviously.
Yeah.
But I went with Keeping It Real.
Obviously.
The production, the riffs, the lyrics, this is one of those things that established, what I like.
Interesting. Truly, the dichotomy of HardLore is
Minor Threat and 25 to Life, first 2 picks.
First 2 picks. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try. I did some work, so I'm gonna actually try to go in chronological order.
Wow.
So I started in 81, Discord 03, Minor Threat.
You're awesome.
And now I'm gonna go to something that we've talked about. I wish I had. Negative Approach. By Negative Approach. Touch and Go 07, 1982.
Damn, dude.
82.
They were banned for 3 fucking years, Bo. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I should have grabbed the anthology. I have like the whole thing, whatever, but I'll get to another band. I had a revelation about one of my favorite bands of all time on this list, and we'll get there. Okay. But they cover Ready to Fight. Mm-hmm. And when you have, it's just like this thing where it's like 10 years later, one of the hardest bands of all time. I'm kind of going out of order here.
Yeah, you are.
Basically what I'm saying is the reverence shown to this release.
Yeah.
By every band that came afterwards.
This is now the third time. This is like the third week in a row we've said that Negative Approach completely transformed the scene that created the most popular type of hardcore.
We were going to talk to Brandon at Tied Down. And when we do a thing where we'll talk to each other, you and I, and be like, what are we going to talk about? And your suggestion was, how does it feel to have invented an entire genre of music?
Yeah.
Because that's what it did.
You made this.
That's what it did.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck, man. My cell phone doesn't have any minutes right now.
Yeah.
What's the Wi-Fi password? And I go, damn, you're the coolest guy ever.
So Negative Approach,
yeah,
1982.
they're the coolest band ever.
So
there's no Cold as Life without Negative Approach. There's probably there's many things that don't exist without Negative Approach. My next pick. This is a really fun look into the duality of the show.
Yeah, I like it.
Because my next pick is Kickback 150 Passions.
Wow, that's an EP. So there you go. There's one I didn't even think about.
Yeah, and that's before No Surrender came out. You know what? Really, Kickback's entire discography is like this rising chart of just insanity.
Yeah,
because Cornered is like Breakdown 25 to Life. Forever War, they go more kind of all out war.
Yeah,
Metallic. 150 Passions, they were like, we're Kickback.
Yeah,
this is our thing. 100%.
We're not doing
No Surrender is where shit popped off, but this is to me the like defining piece of music for them of like the best European hardcore band of all time. So this is find this. Forever War is the song that gets most people because the 808
of course
it's
unbelievable.
That's what you want. But this is where they found their identity and these sick fucks playing these unique riffs that sound like nothing else with this crazy production where you can't really hear the kick drum, but you can feel it.
Oh,
which is a weird choice, but works somehow.
Interesting. I wouldn't have even. Yeah, I've never noticed that. I've listened to it for sure, but I've never noticed
crazy.
That.
This is, and the guitars finally sound like the Kickback guitars.
Yeah. It's when they stopped doing, like you said, all at war and started doing Kickback.
We're Kickback. We're French, and we're the best one.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Next one for me. This is the one where I could not believe the length. And I think that this is one that, like, this was not formative to me growing up getting into hardcore, but it was one where later on I went back and realized, and it's United Blood by Agnostic Front. 1983.
This is way up there for me.
Agnostic Front Records. Self-release, their own shit. United Blood. 6 minutes, 21 seconds.
Yeah, it's
8 songs.
It's like, that's it. They rip through this shit.
It's fucking awesome.
I've seen bands cover this entire thing, and it's a religious experience.
They played the Live at CB's set at United Blood one year, which I think
that was the coolest thing ever.
Isn't that not all of United Blood? Don't they play the whole thing?
I think
like mostly, I believe.
Yeah, most of it.
So and seeing it at United Blood, with all the Richmond locals, all the guys who love, and then like all the Long Island
fulfilling
guys,
their genetic and geographic obligation to mosh for this entire thing. Yeah,
as you said. A religious experience.
Fucking this awesome. It would be hard to argue that this isn't number one, for me.
Yeah, when we get to the top 5, so these are all not in order. Top 5 is just that's personal preference. Formative for me.
Same.
Yeah, good.
But if somebody was like United Blood's the best hardcore EP of all time, I'm shrugging my shoulders and saying,
"Hey,
you might be right."
Yeah, you're right. Good job. Good call.
Groundbreaking, trailblazing, genre-defining EP.
Hard, like
cool
their
lyrics.
own, just like scratched out of the earth. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, to me, this is like the defining thing for like the evolution of the New York hardcore.
There's
sound.
a lot of New York hardcore on mine.
It's technically New York hardcore. My next pick.
Okay,
but it's Long Island.
Okay.
Neglect. Pull the plug. You want a real deal, sick fuck. The guy, you listen to this, they mean what they're saying. And again, a lot of the things I picked, nothing sounds like.
Yeah.
And to me, that's part of what I'm looking for like why these things are perfect or why they impacted me in this way. I think from production standpoint, riff standpoint, lyrical standpoint, sonically, the way his voice sounds, nothing sounds like this. And I think it's such an acquired taste. It's like it's an elite organization to be a Neglect fan, you know?
Very much so.
For me to be probably one of the only guy outside of Long Island to have this in my office right now.
Framed.
I've had that framed for 15 years. It's an elite organization to be a Neglect fan, much like, the Men in Black, etc. Pull the plug.
Other elite organizations.
And, additional elite organizations. Neglect, and this is one of those things where Pull the Plug, I think, is the best example of their material. Like these I think it's 4 songs. Again, did not look shit up, which is going to bite my ass
That's
later.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah, this is they're on my Long Island Mount Rushmore.
I didn't know they were Long Island.
Yeah.
I knew they were New York.
Well,
didn't know.
ask anybody from Long Island if they like Neglect. They'll say yes and then shoot you in the head for asking.
Wow. Yeah.
How could you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good answer. Again, more dichotomy between us. And this is good because this is what's going to get people into things they may not have heard of.
Yeah.
So my next one is the first time where I couldn't definitively find if it was or it wasn't. I believe it's an EP. It was printed as by Exclaim on a 12-inch, but at 45. And I can't definitively find if it's considered an EP or an LP. So I'm just going to say it because who cares, really?
Yeah, but a lot of dope shit is on 45 RPM. I love a 45 RPM.
Fast.
You can slow it down.
Yeah. Whoa.
To me, the best things are when I put something on and it's 33. I'm kind of pissed
because you can't.
Because I'm like, damn, I got to change my ribbon around for this fucking piece of shit.
Oh, you got one of them fancy turntables, huh?
Well, you have a button or a switch?
I got a little button.
Oh,
I got an Audio Technica, like a mid-range one.
Okay, I've got a U-turn kind of gangster one, but only because it has the built-in preamp, so I needed that for my thing.
For the Sonos.
For the Sonos thing, you need the built-in preamp.
Fuck yeah.
Or else you got to buy the fucking Sonos preamp. Don't get me started. But, dude, a 45 that's church, baby.
Yeah. It's not on my list, but when I first got one of the R&R 7 inches, I didn't know if it was 45 or 33. I couldn't figure it out.
We've talked about that.
I was like, this is either...
What does this sound like?
Yeah, what is happening? Yeah. So this one that I'm unsure about is DYS Brotherhood on Exclaim from 1983. It's short, but again, couldn't... anywhere I looked, Google, Discogs, Wikipedia, couldn't figure it out. It's no secret that I love the early Boston stuff. DYS was my favorite of that stuff. Dave Smalley has the first straight edge tattoo that I know of, and it says True Till Death on it. It's fucking hard.
Yeah,
and I loved that. They were all part of the Boston crew thing with SSD and Negative Effects and Slapshot. Super straight edge, cool songs. I don't know. It was just I found it at a perfect time. It's 1983. Again, they took what Minor Threat kind of started, made it harder, and made it this is our fucking thing. And then the youth crew bands kind of ran with that from there. So it's this Middle Earth kind of thing that I love. Elves.
You love Middle Earth.
I love Middle Earth. So that's Exclaim. I didn't get the number. 1983, Brotherhood by DYS.
It's no secret that I prefer fuck you straight edge.
Yeah.
And
that's this is the start of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I gotta give them their flowers. Yeah. For that. We're gonna stay in Massachusetts. Okay. For this next pick of mine.
Lovely.
And again, this is just it's really funny that this is the way that this is going. But my next pick is Sam Black Church. And this is what got me into them. This is a formative thing to the reason this EP is part of the reason Twitching Tongues exists. So it's you break me down, my DNA. This is right in there. I saw the big cool ass logo.
The cool logo.
Big purple artwork. Favorite color.
Purple?
Oh yeah. And I heard the first little thing in Infernal Machine. The chun, da, 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 fucked up sounding guitar, crazy sounding record.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts singing. And again, doesn't sound like nobody. Don't know what the lyrics are at first because they're so crazy. Then I realized that they're brilliant and one of a kind. And the songs have a hardness without being like stupid.
Yeah.
In a way that was like so profound to me.
That makes a lot of sense looking at your musical tastes. Hard without being stupid. Like you like I mean, God's
But
Hate.
I also like Weird Al.
No,
You know,
I don't want to talk about that. But God's Hate songs are not simple.
No.
But they're all
People
hard.
think they are.
They're all hard.
I think they are.
You know what I mean? So like that makes sense to me that that you would think about it in that way. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then, I like dumb.
Yeah.
I do like some dumb.
Of course.
Like ignorant for the sake of ignorant I like it. But this just scratched so many itches that I didn't know were itching for me. And I think you could argue it's their best thing.
Oh, really?
But I also think that which that does not kill us is like perfect.
That's the one.
What can you do?
All right, we're staying in Boston.
Stay in Boston.
I didn't realize that this was an EP. This was a pleasant surprise. Slapshot back on the map. Tang, 1986.
Wow. 86.
86. I thought it was way later, and I thought it was Step on It. I thought that was the first thing. So I didn't know Back on the Map. I mean, this was like still X'd up, singing with a half a hockey stick, and
oh god, so fucking cool.
And making him like hard weighing himself.
Yeah.
And not fucking with any of the New York, like any of the youth crew bands. They're like, we're not the same. This isn't positive. This is us. This is a negative thing.
Yeah, and I'm not, as a pretty not youth crew guy personally. Mm-hmm. I'm all in.
Yeah. I mean, it's not on this record, but Slapshot In Your Face is one of the hardest straight edge songs ever written. And it's a band that's playing in E standard out of Marshalls and Les Pauls. Like there's no,
come on.
You know what I mean? So it's really like, again, I'm a big Boston in this era kind of guy, and Slapshot is still a band that I'll put on from time to time. Just go, God damn. But regardless, I love Back on the Map. And I think a lot of the bands that would come later on in the 90s would kind of say that about Slapshot at the time.
Sure. If we're staying in Mass, I'll hit you with one more.
Yeah.
A band I really would be nothing without, Only Living Witness, Complex Man EP.
Was that before or after?
Before Promo to
That's
Form.
before. Okay. Is that
and hearing it, you really are like, who the fuck was this?
Interesting.
Because it sounds like Breakdown. Wow. But he's still got like the melody. And the production is really crazy. It sounds crazy, but in a way that is like raw and big and hard.
Whoa.
And the songs, I really wonder why they didn't record these, because there are big mosh parts in them, for one. They're really fast and technical, that it's like a completely different band when Promo to Form came out.
And is he singing?
It's kinda. He's doing both. He is.
Interesting.
There's notes, but there's some stuff that's like so fast and patterny that they're like can't be notes. But it's 3 songs, and they are 3 hits.
Isn't that fun?
I love it.
That's my whole point about this. It's 3 songs, done.
Yeah, done.
That's so good. That's so fun.
That's how you present a band.
Yeah. That's the hook.
This is who we are.
What's the elevator pitch of a band? It's like, here's 5 minutes.
Here's track 1. This is the hit.
Yeah.
Here's track 2. It's the crazy one. Here's track 3. It's the epic one.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
I like that.
What's your next one?
All right, we're gonna go straight to the Lower East Side.
Oh wow!
And we don't talk about Warzone very much.
No.
Warzone, Lower East Side crew, the first Rev record, 1987.
Yeah.
Todd Youth on guitar. They have songs on this record that they recorded like 8 times, like that were on.
I love when a band does that.
Dude, me too, because I have I like having favorite versions of songs.
Yeah.
The Misfits,
and talking to Cold as Life last week was just like, man, you believe in these songs and you're going to fucking record them until the world believes in them too.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it. Because if I had done that sometimes, maybe one day I'd be happy with the perfect version of one, you know?
The Misfits box sets has songs that are like 4 or 5 times, you know, and I have a favorite one each time.
And the best version of them, they didn't fucking put out.
Yeah, right. So this is the Lower East Side Crew, the first Rev record, 1987. I remember seeing it when I was getting into music and getting into like the straight edge thing and figuring out what Youth Crew was. And interestingly, all of the later like Rev bands and schism bands would thank Rabies and Warzone.
Yeah.
And like they were always like, it was weird. Warzone was always part of both, like the AF skinhead thing, and then the straight edge thing, the Youth Crew thing too. And like I didn't get it, and it took a minute, but that's how I like figured it out. And I was like, oh, like a Floyd Rose and a backwards hat on Todd Youth on the cover, cool. Like yeah, that sounds fun, you know. Like and that's what I got to. And the song Always was the song. And this is not to be confused with, I have kind of an honorable mention already, but it's just not to be confused with a 1996 record called Lower East Side, which is another EP that Victory put out.
What can you do?
With a lot of the same recorded songs. So not to be confused with
this is one of the
that.
first Warzone mentions on HardLore.
Yeah, I think
which
it is
funny.
And, you know, I don't know how formative it was for me, but like it's an undeniable piece of music.
It's a staple. It's like a thing.
Staple. Yeah.
It's one of the things that, you know, Scott Vogel whispered in my ear at one point.
Lower East Side Crew.
Warzone. Respect. This is formative hardcore music to the entire genre.
Yes.
Just period.
Yes. And I feel like this is an example of something where like wouldn't necessarily be on my top 5, but if someone said like this is a top 5 EP of all time, I would like AF. I would be like, yeah, hey, you specific. You know how I am. I love lore. I love the fact that Rabies is playing drums on United Blood on the cover.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick. Like I love shit like that. I love the tie-ins, and I love like figuring that out when I was a kid by reading fucking liner notes and shit. Was like, that was the fun. That was.
And seeing that kind of every scene in the world is built by like 10 guys switching instruments. Like New Orleans, like metal.
Dude, yeah, right.
It's like 8 guys. And it's like 8 bands. And Jimmy Bowers and all.
Yeah.
That's Warzone AF. Madball.
We'll get there. Good Lord.
Yeah, we sure will. My next pick, Suffocation, Despise the Sun.
That's a great pick. I almost did put that on there. I will say, full disclosure, there's some that I think about putting on. I go, he's for sure going to do that. I don't need to worry about it.
Smart. I think I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
A great timeless EP in the middle of your career is crazy.
Fun.
But not insane. And I don't think this is on streaming, which is cool.
No, I don't think it is either. Yeah.
Elite organization. To Despise the Sun listeners, elite. Production is where they dialed in. This is right before self-titled, I think. So they had the like post Pierce from Within kind of semi-modern production dialed in.
The swag.
And the swag was unlocked by this time. Yeah. They knew who they were.
Exactly.
And the artwork rocks, production rocks, lyrics are sick. There's a big fucking pit in every song. So to somebody like who hears death metal in some way and is like, I think I like that, but I don't know where to start. It's rare to have something like this.
Right.
A 4-song EP that you can just smoke and be like, oh, this is okay.
That's fucking
This is something I can sink my teeth in.
Perfect.
There should be more.
Yes.
More death metal EPs.
I'm glad that you are an advocate for EPs in general.
Dude, Taylor Young is a EP mark.
Dude, I think they're perfect. And I'm
He's
glad that
dying
we
to do
agree.
Yeah, big time. I love an EP, but there's just the risk involved in making that.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't on streaming.
It's crazy.
There's some weird reason to that, I'm sure. And I don't know.
I mean, I think it's No Gods, No Masters is not on one of them. Spotify, I think. It's on Apple Music.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And it's titled wrong. Anyway, what's the next?
How is it titled?
I think it's No Gods, No Master or something.
Oh,
or
really?
No God, No Master. I know it's fucked up. I'm not going to look it up, but there's something wrong with it. But then with things like that, where No Gods, like, made you guys.
Yeah, kind of.
You know?
That was the first, like, ever, like, the other guys had quit. So that was the first, like, here's the band. It was like a statement.
Yeah.
And that's what they should be.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're starting over. Here's an EP. This is us.
Yes.
And then Isolation came, and it was like, this is us.
And then Blinded was
Fuck
another
you.
EP, which is fun.
I love Blinded.
Yeah, I like
Love
the every other kind of thing, but
It's not a sustainable method.
No.
If you're not re-recording songs, or also like Candlemass Nightfall, you know? That's not on my list, but it's
is that an EP?
6 songs
But
with 10 tracks,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously sometimes you know what you got and you go, fuck, we should do more shit and present this as an LP because this is like our best thing. Sometimes you're gonna do an EP and you go,
Should we?
we should probably do some more, and like, so that this can be in our list of, now with streaming,
Yeah.
EPs is a different section. You got to scroll farther to get there.
Yeah.
So it's an even greater risk.
So stupid.
So
I get it.
put it all in one thing.
Yeah. I know. We're staying in New York.
Yeah.
We're staying in New York. We
We
got
really are. I got all the next two.
yeah. GB. It's Rev 04. I think I have it written.
Rev 04. That's so crazy to just see that.
1988. Hold your ground.
The spirit of 88.
yeah.
Alive in this record.
Produced by Walter and Don Fury.
Jesus Christ.
This was one where there was an insert in it, and there's a thanks to, okay? A thanks to, and it's literally Ray of Today, Rabies, Jay Crackdown. I could have figured out that was a band. You know what I mean? Like, Porcell, Sammy. Like, we talk about this shit all the time.
It's a map.
It's there you go.
It's a map to more things.
A map to more music. And then by the bottom, it's fucking Youth Defense League, Sick of It All, Crackdown, New York Hoods, Token Entry, Wide Awake, Up Front, Fed Up, Intact, Touchdown. Like 25 bands.
Yeah.
That are, you know, if they're listing them, they're all going to be around there.
Token Entry is one of the funniest and most awesome band names of all time.
Token Entry rocks. Beyond is another one that I always think is funny. Just, what's your band? Beyond.
Beyond.
It's just Beyond.
Straight edge.
But yeah, so, you know, Mike Judge. Like, there's just like a ton of shit in there. This 7-inch was extremely important to me. This was one of the first Youth Crew bands I ever heard. Possibly the first song I ever heard was Big Mouth.
Wow.
I don't remember why. Something to do with like it being in someone's SoulSeek library alphabetically. And so it's a B. You know what I mean?
That got there?
Yeah.
What was the song? Have you ever owned a car?
Yeah.
Respectfully?
Yeah.
And like, do you know where like the first song on your iPod plays when you plug it in?
Yeah. It was an Anal Cunt song.
Oh.
I think it was Anal Cunt by Anal Cunt, which my dad found on the computer one time and was not happy.
No. You got spanked for that one, huh?
The Lord had a word with me.
Yeah. He manscaped you in other ways. Mine was typo A number 1.
Oh.
Which like now that song title sounds like a brilliant marketing tactic to make that happen.
Totally. Yeah.
A period number 1.
Yeah. Saw them play a bunch of these songs that tied down. Still fucking hit. You
Still
might be
going,
different from
still
your friends,
hit.
but if you're true, they'll understand. Like, I remember all of these fucking lyrics because I just used to sit and like, literally study this shit in front of the record player, just like, they grew up doing as it was. And it was just like,
we can talk about it with Civ when he's on the show in a couple weeks. Coming soon.
Very cool.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Gorilla Biscuits, 1988.
Groundbreaking. Headlining fest to this day with these fucking songs.
And think about the career.
Legendary band.
Think about like Walter.
Yeah.
Coming from that.
That's a gangster awesome. Right there. Okay. My next pick is more, not really so much, but like mine are definitely more modern compared to yours for the most part.
I'm getting there.
Okay. This is much later in this band's discography. And I think it is the best collection of songs it's tough to say. Sheer Terror, Old, New, Borrowed, and Blue.
Awesome.
Which a re-recording, new songs, a cover, and like a sad cover. Old, New, Borrowed, and Blue. Yeah. Conceptually, so fucking brilliant.
You love that.
Oh, dude, I love
because it ties
I love
in,
an insane concept.
Because that's a wedding thing, right? Something old, something new. And it ties into the love story, the love song shit. Yeah. Like it's like it fits them so well.
Yeah. And it opens with the best song they ever wrote. Goes into a re-recording of a classic. An amazing cover. It's perfect. And it sounds if you show me this now, I would tell you it was recorded in 2013.
Huh.
I think it was produced by Josh Silver, which is
really
badass.
That's fucking sick.
That's could be again, completely lying.
Top of his head.
Top of my head again, just to clarify. Production wise, unbelievable. Lyrically, Paul Bearer is like in his own world. He's an actual hateful, sad genius in a way that is like all I've ever wanted to be. And I think this is me. It's hard to say that these are their best songs, but it's their best recording,
which is very important.
Which is fair. Yeah, it is.
Sometimes
I don't like that. I've never. This production is on par with like Master Killer, Pro Model Form,
and that's
crazy.
That's saying something. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, very cool.
Keep on trucking.
We're staying in New York for a minute.
Let's stay there.
So the last one was 88, next one's 88, and the one after that's going to be 88.
The spirit of 88 is that's a real thing.
And I'm a youth crew guy, so we're staying in New York, of course. Judge, New York crew, Schism.
I knew I didn't have to put this on mine.
Yeah, for sure. I had an original. I sold it for some reason. Hard Times, I think. I think I kept the poster and sold it without it.
You brat bastard.
I told him. But just like, Fed Up's on it. And the New York Crew song is on it. And again, being such a mark for stories and like, like that tells a story about Boston and New York, like beefing and like, what they used to call it, like the New York Wolf Pack and calling it United Blood and like all this shit.
Also, throughout our childhoods and formative years, they were like the band that didn't play. Like they're never going to fucking play again. You're never going to see them.
And like, even,
so
do you
it
remember
just made it so mythical.
There was a documentary that was started and then there was like a fire.
Yeah.
And they like lost everything. So it was like, even like the little window we were getting closed.
And they're a band full of lore. The Chung King can suck it.
Just hating production and saying fuck.
Hating your record so much that you trash the copies and do it again.
Badass, frankly.
Fucking cool.
And possibly, from what I've heard, even the right call sonically. Like I've heard that, I've heard them.
Right.
And the one's not great and bringing it down is pretty great. But this is the first 7-inch.
Yeah.
Just cool, more straight edge shit, and again, bring in the like hard part into all of this.
As a lad, I'm getting into things. People are showing me stuff. Some of it's a little too melodic for me. Some of it's a little too positive for me. Some of it is just not hitting. But fuck you, straight edge.
Yeah,
we're straight edge, but fuck you.
Yeah.
was like, all right, I found another one on the list of things for Colin.
And I was dying for that.
Yeah.
I was dying for it. So anytime
As
I
an
found
angsty, horny little fucker.
Yeah.
You know, just angry, straight edge, horny. Judge ticked all the boxes somehow.
Christ. Yeah. So there's not there like these things I think are probably pretty obvious to people for me to choose.
Sure.
So we don't need to like wax on about them too much, but formative, important, great.
It's a great pick. And I knew I didn't have to put it on because I knew it was coming. My next pick, Crown of Thorns, Train Yard Blues.
Yeah.
So this fucking record for me opened my eyes to like kind of what hardcore could be. Because every story you hear about Crown of Thorns in this era, it's like Isaac was the baddest man alive. And then you hear them or see them, and it's like, yo, the guy that just justifiably whooped my friend's ass is singing these like melancholic, sad, emotional lyrics over these hard riffs.
Yeah.
And like, think about that and me, you know?
Yeah.
That's all I ever eventually was like, that's what I'm doing then. If that is allowed.
Yeah. If that's passable.
If that's passable, then that's all I want.
Absolutely.
And like Isaac alone proved that possible. Wow. When you think about like everything else was like, I'm crazy, I'm insane, I'll fucking kill you. And Crown of Thorns was like, I have feelings and I'm emotional. And then this next song about the Juggernaut from X-Men.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's one record. That's everything I like together. Finally. Crown of Thorns, Train Yard Blues, a perfect piece of music.
I remember at FYA, you were buzzing for
God.
that and for Life of Agony. You were a kid. You're a kid in a candy shop. I remember.
And we're back to back on that New York show in a couple weeks. Wow. The Triple B Streets of Hate Days showcase, October 1st. See you there.
He's sharp, this guy. I tell you what.
Yeah, this is a perfect record.
The next one, again, and another thing that I will say that the Youth Crew thing benefits from are EPs. Because they were just throwing
Is
them
there,
out.
other than Break Down the Walls, Bo?
Yeah.
Is there a good Youth Crew LP?
Bringing it down. The Turning Point.
They're not Youth Crew to me, you know?
Okay.
I just like, even if they are.
Okay.
I can't mentally, because they're so fuck you,
Yeah.
I can't even classify them as that.
Turning Point, Chain of Strength, instead. Wide Awake never did an LP. They have a good demo, though. Couldn't use it.
So Break Down the Walls is the only one. What were you going to say?
Well, I mean, then there's We're Not In This Alone. I mean,
they got
it all. Yeah. Side by Side, You're Only Young Once. Rev, 1988.
Wow. 88 is crazy.
Crazy, dude. Our numbers doubled.
James
in 88.
Vitale coming his pants right now at us talking about these things.
Rev, 1988, Side by Side, You're Only Young Once. We jinxed this the last time we talked about Side by Side.
We really did. Now it's just Demise. Demise is the only band that hasn't played again. I would love to manifest that one into happening. So Demise is the only band that hasn't played again.
Never.
Anyway, Side by Side.
Side by Side was kind of also mythical because they they were a thing that was kind of separate from the other Youth Crew guys, and they kind of beefed, and that became a song on the Alone in the Crowd. There's like all this lore behind it that it was like fucking cool. And I had heard through the grapevine that Jules, the singer, would like still go to shows. Just like go. He was just into hardcore. Like through the 2000s. So
yeah, that made a difference when you were a kid, didn't it?
Yeah, dude. I mean, to this day, I am, and we've talked about this before, but I like, if he's home, Martine's going to a show. You know what I mean? Like, and that makes a fucking difference.
If the venue has a bar, he's at the show. Straight up. 100%.
I like, who doesn't like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But Side by Side was fucking formative because there was more of the song Backfire is literally like you hate life, but you don't know what it's about. That's the fucking lyric. It's like you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Like you're alive, kind of a thing. And,
no, exactly.
And
also like aesthetically, Side by Side was on another dimension.
What's on the is it the Beastie Boys on the cover?
No, it's LL Cool J.
It's LL Cool J. That's right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. The shoes are so big if you look at the cover. It's insane.
That's you know why?
Yeah.
Big old fucking.
So yeah, Side by Side, iconic cover. You can't miss
Big time.
Can't miss it.
I got a real modern pick. Modern to us.
Okay.
For this next one. Blacklisted.
Yeah.
Peace on Earth, War on Stage.
I knew this was one where I knew you were gonna.
Dude. And I haven't heard this in 10 years.
What's on it? Let me look at it.
Memory Lane. Fucking Canonized.
Yeah, I mean, whoo.
God damn.
Woo.
And they were like era defining.
Yeah.
When you look at that and bands that came out after this just were trying to do this. And so even Blacklisted, every time they put something out, completely transformed who they were.
Oh, dude, they were kings of that.
And I deeply, deeply respect them.
Yeah, they were kings at doing that.
Just never sounded the same twice.
They were the first band. I think it was when, God, what's the other LP with the longer name?
Beat Goes On?
No, lonelier. Yeah,
Heavier Than Heaven, Lonelier Than God.
Thank you. They did a East Coast record release, a Chicago record release, and then I was
they were a fucking
I was like, what?
Phenomenon in Chicago.
Oh yeah, big time. But I like couldn't believe it. I was like, they can do that? Like they're big enough to do, and now it's like, flying out
Heavier
to
Than Heaven.
Yeah.
This is a good example of this record was like existed to boost Heavier Than Heaven eventually.
Right.
I think if not all 3 out of 4 are on there.
I can check for you.
You don't have to. It's fine. But Heavier Than Heaven was so interesting because I remember the unmastered version leaked.
Oh.
And people were so devastated for them that the pre-orders exploded.
I remember that.
This thing must have sold 20,000 LPs.
Holy shit. I forgot all about that.
I got all 4 colors and I didn't have a job.
And that was on Death Wish. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Big time. And I think this being this good and the production being this cool, George's lyrics were always 10 years ahead of his time. Their comeback show selling out in 1 second is
there you go.
Is cool to see as like we are the like Blacklisted generation.
Yeah, for sure.
We were literal kids as they were running shit. So it's good to see their name back on the marquee.
They also had the reputation. The most frightened I've ever been that wasn't a Killer show was when they covered River Runs Red.
Yeah.
And like I was legitimately afraid to be where I was, like in the room. They had the reputation of a live show being just fucking
chaos and violence. Which is interesting because that went through even on these songs. And it's like the big pit is like da-no-no-no.
Yeah.
Like just like a blues scale.
Yeah.
Weird riff that nothing sounds like.
Yes.
Nothing did this. Nobody sounded like this. Nobody did what they were doing. And if they did after, they didn't do a good job.
Very good.
So kudos to Blacklist.
Very well said.
Thank you.
My next one, a recent acquisition.
Oh.
The Outburst Miles to Go.
Miles to Go.
I don't know what the impact of this was at the time. Do you know what I mean?
No idea.
No idea. I know what it did to my group of friends when we heard it.
And I would maybe like 2 generations later.
Yes.
Was like, oh no, this is what we like.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, there you go. they did it.
Awesome production, awesome lyrics, hateful aggressive songs.
Good, like the vocals were like good. You know what I mean? Like hard,
unique, one of a kind riffs.
There's a little poster in here. Brian Donahue vocals. This came out on Blackout Records, 1989. 89. And it's fucking
about 5 or 6 years ahead of its time, probably. Just considering how hard it was.
I would love to know more about. Oh, dude, and here you go. Like here, I've never looked at this. There's a picture on the front. You're not going to be able to see it, but the singer right there is wearing a Metallica shirt.
And that's something young Bo would be like, wow.
I'd be like, he could do that?
I'm allowed to like Metallica too?
Exactly. Fucking awesome.
And that's 89.
89. So that's a real Metallica shirt, you know? Like
and that's after Ride the Lightning came out and people were like, Metallica are fucking posers and they're not hardcore anymore.
Yeah. That's an Injustice or before.
Yeah.
It's a puss head design, I can tell. But yeah, I have no idea what the impact of this band was like. Like Breakdown, I do know because you would hear about it. Killing Time, like the Raw Deal demo or whatever, there are there's VHSs and like I've seen videos. I don't know about Outburst. I don't know.
You just don't know what people thought of them?
I don't know if at the time they were popular.
Yeah. If they were over.
I don't know if they were over.
I'll tell you damn what, they surely are now. This was pretty up there on mine.
Good.
Kind of solely based on what this did for my generation of like new bands.
Yeah, dude. And I don't know if you can tell those of you watching, they are
just lads.
They're children.
Just lads.
Kids.
I think there's a funny picture out there somewhere of Outburst just taking a picture with Peter Steele.
Really?
Or just like, yo, it's Peter Steele. Let's get a pic. You know, something like that.
Are you thinking of the Youth of Today one?
I don't think so.
There's one with Porcel and Capo with Peter, and Peter's like wearing a.
No, they had to have been boys. I'm pretty sure it was like Outburst being like, yo, it's Peter Steele.
Oh, he's just like out and about.
Outburst, Peter Steele. I'm just getting articles about Peter Steele outburst.
Goes on a conservative outburst.
Yeah. I instinctively wrote down a split. But I think I should save it for a splits episode.
Fuck, but it's the best one.
I know, and I'm sure it's the same one.
I'm looking at it. I got it in front of me.
I'm sure it's the same one.
I'm moving them. Son of a bitch.
I just feel like that's a whole other conversation.
I just don't know as many. There are fewer good splits out there, I would say, than good EPs.
Okay, then Terror Ringworm split. There it is.
I mean, go ahead and talk about it.
Break that thing down for me. Show them the back. Read that track list off.
Oh, the track list?
Read it.
Out of My Way. This was a song, I'm pretty sure they play it most of the time now. Yeah. But this was a song that they didn't play for a long time. And it was like a thing, you know?
Right.
And it's the one, for those of you who don't know, it's the one that starts with fuck everything and everybody. And I remember at the time when I first heard it, I thought it was like a borderline industrial song. Because hear me out. This version sounds in such a way. And my I downloaded it, pirated it, and played it off an iPod. My shitty car stereo sounded so crazy.
So you just thought it was like...
He's riding on the toms, right? It sounded like a Nine Inch Nails part or like a Ministry part or something to me. Unbelievable song. Nothing to Lose is the next Terror song, the second Terror song.
The Carl First Blood, Nothing to Lose mosh call when he...
I don't know how he does that. The Ringworm side.
Come on.
No One Dies Alone. No One Dies. And then House of Hell.
House of Hell.
Holy shit.
Lordy have mercy.
I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, Deathwish did 3 Dead Man's Hands releases. There's a Hearts that's yet to be filled.
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple of Perspective Hearts.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Many times. We've both been pitched for it.
Yeah. And this is one that I got when it came out. I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I hijacked your pick there, but it's
No, I'm glad that you did because it's fun that we finally agree on one and say it at the same time. Man, is this the same recording as Los Lo?
No, I don't think so. We can find out. Recorded at Blood Tracks in the fucking Valley, by the way, is what it says in the liner notes.
That's Nick Jett, so maybe not.
In the fucking Valley.
Yeah.
2 different days, about 2 weeks apart. Engineered by Nick.
Terror and Ringworm. God damn.
Perfect.
A lot of bands did a split with Ringworm. Cold as Life did a split with Ringworm.
I found that out only when doing like research for.
Oh, wow.
Didn't realize.
Yeah, it's almost like a rite of passage to do it. It's like wrestling Randy Orton, doing a split with Ringworm. It's the same thing. You got to do it.
I'd like to write that.
God damn, dude. Terror Ringworm are like the best of 2 generations, kind of.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ringworm doing a split with Terror so far into their career is like, here's the torch.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Even though Scott was has been blazing the trail his entire life.
Very true. Wow.
Two landmark hardcore bands playing 2 of their hardest, most formative songs.
House of Hell
ever
specifically this version is my favorite Ringworm song.
Ringworm song.
Yeah. Like I got it, I love that fucking song.
Production crazy.
Great.
On this version. You're right. Yeah.
All right, 89, last Youth Crew band, Chain of Strength, True Till Death. Rev 10. When I heard it and I saw someone say True Till Death, and it meant straight edge, there was no ambiguity about it. That was what I was looking for. Now they've since whatever. I don't think it was True Till Death.
Mm-hmm.
Still is for me. But Chain were the West Coast kind of counterpart to all the East Coast shit. And my fucking band with Chris, that first band, I think we covered Chain of Strength every show we played. Every single show. One time, I can't remember the band, Chris would know, there was a show at DePaul. It was a 3-piece band or a 4-piece, but the drummer didn't know a Chain song. And they said, does anybody know Chain of Strength Through These Eyes? And Chris went, I do. Sat down and played it. Ripped it. He got the pause and everything.
That's awesome.
Nailed it. They were just super important. They were just, they were the band. I don't know if I'm talking out of turn or anything, but they were the band for me where it was like, oh, they have posi tops. Oh, they all have X watches. Oh, they where it was kind of like what you think Youth Crew to look like. They were doing, Yeah. Intentional or not, probably. But, that for me was formative.
Sure. If you're listening to this thinking, if you're stopping to listen to these things, while we're talking about this, and you're listening to Chain of Strength and you're thinking, I'm not sure this one is for me.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I'm sure people would think that about Neglect. There are other.
But they're insane. But yeah, I'm sure they're out there. But Chain of Strength is one of those bands that I just could never really. Mm-hmm. Chain of Strength is one of those bands that I listened to that made me decide maybe not all hardcore music is for me.
There you go.
But I'm the guy putting 25 to Life on his best EPs list, and proud of it.
All right, take it away.
Let's see. Here we go. I got a lot of modern picks coming up, especially because we've shared a few. Earth Crisis, All Out War
had to happen. I have that somewhere. I don't know why I didn't grab it.
I think this is the superior EP over Firestorm. To me, it's more punk, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Raw recording.
Did you say
bigger songs? Rawer.
More raw. Okay.
Additionally raw.
Raw recording is what I heard.
Raw XD recording. I guess it's more vegan than straight edge, which sucks. But for me personally, for them, it's huge. Firestorm, obviously, was like, that's the hit. That's Enter Sandman, brother. That's timeless. All Out War was just more to sink my teeth into.
Yeah.
Well, All Out War, you could say. I don't know that this was the first Earth Crisis record I heard, but like, I'm not straight edge without this.
Oh,
period.
So that's kind of my thing with my last several picks from Warzone through Chain.
You're not blank without these.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah. These are the anatomy of Colin and Bo.
Yes.
As much as any LP, these are on there. And then there's some coming up now that I just think are fucking awesome.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting out of the formative years and getting a little more into. I'm really excited for the next one because I almost would have to imagine it's on yours. It might be in your top 5.
Hit me with it. Pardon this interruption. We're here to tell you about Athletic Greens AG1.
Woo! Wow. They just sent us some more, and it was like Christmas morning. Tell you what.
Dude, it really was. I can't get enough.
No. I do it every day. My mom texted me the other day. There's no clinical backing for this, but she said, have you noticed your hair getting thicker with AG1? And I said, I can't confirm or deny that, mother.
That's
what she thinks.
Those are bold claims.
Bold claims.
So to the bald community out there, you might have that going for you. AG1 is a daily greens supplement. You drink it, you forget about it.
Yeah.
You feel better.
Yeah, we got vitamins.
Like I've been missing this concoction my entire life.
We got vitamins, minerals, whole food source ingredients made for just about everybody.
For our bodies, for show.
For show.
And guess what?
What's that?
You go to athleticgreens.com/hardlore. You're getting 5 free travel packs.
5 of these?
When you go to a show, when you go to some fest or something, you got 5. You got the whole week is covered.
And
a year's supply of vitamin D. Wow. Unbelievable. You're going to need it.
I notice every time I haven't taken it yet. So that's as soon as we're done, I'm going to take mine.
I think that's very accurate. Yeah. Like honestly, a day without it, it's like a day without sunshine, Day without water. It don't feel good. Get on it.
Yeah.
It's also Manscaped time.
Boy, is it.
And it's really permanently Manscaped time.
I'm a Manscaped lifer. Yeah. To be honest with you. I
don't go a day without reviving my crops, without preserving my crops. And you shouldn't either.
No, I use the body wash, the foot spray. I got a recent cologne. Smells great.
And this, you don't just take our word for it, man. Realistically, every single day somebody tags us in some post that's like, I bought Manscaped because of HardLore, and I can't believe it. I can't believe what I was missing.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That could be you.
It's awesome. If you use code HardLore, you get 20% off and free shipping. I don't know if I should swear in an ad, but I mean, it's that's how good. Passionate we are. Yeah.
It's a steal.
It's a steal. And like Colin said, don't take our word for it. I'll tell you what. We haven't touched on this in a minute. We used Manscaped before ever doing anything with it. We bought out of our own pockets.
No, 100%. We sought out Manscaped.
We wanted to see if it was something that we felt comfortable.
I used another YouTube code to buy Manscaped,
Probably Maddie Matheson for me, I think.
So, we're honored to be part of the team. We love the team. We asked them. We were like, Manscaped, please. Escape us.
Please.
So code HardLore, 20% off, free shipping. Wow. It's also Whatnot time. Our triumphant return is imminent.
It's imminent.
But more importantly than that, Whatnot is the best place to buy and sell new and used hardcore memorabilia.
You got hardcore stuff, you got metal stuff, you got sports stuff, video games, wrestling.
And you hear that and you go, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
And it's Cameo meets Twitch meets eBay.
Meets eBay, yeah.
These live chats and conversations and experiences with the people that you know and love.
We got Brody King.
Where you also get to buy stuff.
Yeah. and interact with people. It's a live thing that never gets repeated. You can't watch it again. You get to hang out, interact. We got Brody King on there. We got Lars from Rancid on there. We got Danhausen on there. There's probably a ton of other people on there that we don't even know.
Yeah, that you definitely know.
That you
So you click that little link in our description, you get $15 off your first purchase. Mm-hmm. So buy something from us soon when we come back, and you'll feel so good.
We got all kinds of stuff. I got boxes full of stuff.
Can't wait. It's going to be so soon. Back to the episode.
Little band called Madball. Dropping many suckers.
Okay, dropping many suckers over Ball.
I think because it's like Ball songs set it off production.
It is on mine.
Okay.
I could have said it next, but I would also say that over Ball, and I would have thought that would be sacrilegious or something.
I'm just a pragmatist,
But Madball is one of the rare cases of a lot of the things I've said is like, other than I guess not. Many of the things I've said are these bands' best releases. Many of the ones you've said are the best songs those bands wrote.
For sure.
Madball just kept getting better.
Yeah.
For fucking 10, 15 years. And I think that needs to be applauded.
Freddie sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Like everything about it is perfect. So, big fan.
Yeah.
Big old fan.
This is the only genre, I feel like, of music where this and like metal is where the like EP or LP conversation can even really take place.
Yeah, how is the Paradise EP an EP? Shit's long as fuck. And arguably...
It is, but it's also like that was put out to keep the Born to Die cycle going. We're talking about fucking Lana Del Rey now. It's funny.
I just think about these things like, well, what are other commercial EPs, So that's why I was bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
There's one in my top 5 that is a commercial EP by, I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
Cool.
All right.
That's fun.
My next pick, Trapped Under Ice, Stay Cold.
How could you not?
This changed the world, brother. I don't know how else to describe it. It completely shifted the landscape of modern hardcore.
You just described it.
I guess that is it.
Yeah.
It killed melodic hardcore was dead. This killed it. And everybody, camo pants were there. They arrived. Jean shorts became a genre of music rather than just a garment.
Yeah.
Finally.
I remember being in multiple people's cars, and that is what was on. You know what I mean? Like I remember
the demo already kind of did that. Yeah. The demo was like, oh shit. Like what and who is this?
Baltimore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are these guys? Where did they come from? Yeah. And then this was like such a crazy, the amount of anticipation that there was for Stay Cold was like, I'd never seen anything like it.
I'm surprised this isn't in your top 5, actually.
My top 5 is like deeply personal.
Okay.
Deeply. But I would say in terms of like my first 2 tours I ever did in my life were with Trapped Under Ice. They played 4 of these songs on the whole thing. I've seen them live 100 times probably. There's a reason Trapped Under Ice is headlining festivals to this day.
Absolutely.
It's
what we said about...
It didn't even start here. It started with the fucking demo. They're still playing half the demo at these shows.
What we said about Negative Approach kind of applies to TUI. With like modern...
Trapped Under Ice, basically the modern Negative Approach. In terms of geographically... Dude, London hardcore?
Yeah. Yeah.
What would hardcore in England sound like without Trapped Under Ice?
I don't know. They're the biggest band from...
The Chisel, I guess, right?
yeah, but even
we would have gotten to the Chisel a little earlier, maybe without Trapped Under Ice. But man, they changed shit around the literal world.
And
good
and
job,
there was
TUI.
no ambiguity about it. They were touring. They were fucking kicking ass. They were out.
Everybody loved them.
Yeah. Good pick. That's a solid pick.
They had swag.
Swag.
They literally had an indefinable type of swag where it was like, damn, this band is good, and there's something like superstar-ish about the guys in the band, you know? Where you just want to be friends with them. Which you can't teach that. You can't teach want to be friends with them.
No, you really can't. Floor Punch Division 1 champs. In My Blood 01 records. 1996.
Again, fuck you straight
Yeah,
up.
this is
The best kind.
Yeah, this is it too. No exceptions. Woo. Forget it.
Yeah.
There was a period of
That's
time
fucking
where
straight
the
up.
Harm's Way van, if that feedback came on and if that came on, you had to jump on somebody. Like that was like what happened. Super important band. They kind of bridged the gap for me. Because in the 90s, you know, Earth Crisis fucking killed Youth Crew.
Yeah.
Integrity killed Youth Crew. And they kind of bridged that gap of the 88 thing and the 2000s thing for me.
It did.
Very
because it maintained the fuck you that was lost.
And if you guys don't know, go on YouTube and look up the Final Mosh. Look up the string of intros that they play at CBGB's as their last show. Porter's
The picks
Still
that
Edge.
and it, like me watching that as a kid after, it was like, these guys like all this stuff?
Exactly.
But they don't sound like this.
Exactly.
So it was both confusing and inspiring.
Exactly, dude.
But
Perfect.
it was like, oh, this doesn't have to all go in a box.
Yeah.
But also maybe I wish they sounded like
Right.
all these things. And then that makes you dive in and go, do they? Like are all these bands in the DNA of their music in different ways that I don't understand?
For sure. The No Exception bass line does not get written without AF already doing those kinds of intros to songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But then it's like Biohazard and Leeway are in there somehow.
yeah, that's a good point.
Crazy band.
I forgot they do the Leeway one. I forgot.
They're cool.
Yeah. I remember James had it on VHS because you used to get there was no YouTube. You would get this shit from swapping with people.
From a guy.
And we would just watch it in his room. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, and still straight edge.
Still straight edge. 1996. Floor Punch rips. Take it away.
One of the greats.
Yeah.
Simply put. Period. My next pick. Man, I got some modern ones. And okay. So this is an interesting one because All Out War is a band that never stopped writing good music to this day.
Right.
Still do it. 6-7 years ago, I think maybe 8 now. This is like a new record to me.
Right.
They put out an EP called Dying Gods.
Right.
That was the most brilliant decision a like classic metallic hardcore band could have ever made. Because you're just getting into the streaming era. People's attention spans are dropping like crazy.
All time low.
And then they put 5 tracks recorded perfectly with some of the craziest, but there is a fucking riff that happens for 10 seconds in the first track on this that like permanently altered the way that I perceive music. And I've been writing music a long time by the time I hear this.
Right.
Because it was just like, dude, how are they still doing this? And it inspired me to write.
That is inspiring. And
literally the definition.
Rare as fuck. So rare.
I wouldn't even. They're a unicorn.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist,
Yeah.
but it does in All Out War somehow. To still be this good, Dying Gods EP, unbelievable, perfect in sonically, structurally, lyrically, riffly, just dope.
This one I think is going to be in people's top 5s. I'm giving it. I'm putting it on here because it was certainly important for me, and possibly it holds up the best. American Nightmare, self-titled.
Oh man,
Bridge 907 to the year 2000. Another genre defining,
era defining,
a literal sea change of it was like, oh, everyone's gonna try to sound like this now.
And like, I don't like a single band that sounds like American Nightmare. You know? And somehow that shit works.
Because it was hard.
It was hard and it was aggressive.
And you're a lyric man and you're an emotions guy.
I'm a big lyric man.
And some of the best lyrics, straight up.
There's a straight line from Crown of Thorns to American Nightmare somehow.
You know? And again, I love the lore. I love this shit. At the last 10-yard fight show, Wes is pitting hard as fuck to 10-yard fight. I love that. That's what that's the shit that I live for, is like, wait, these are two completely different things.
Yeah. But are they? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, I'm all in on stuff like that. I think this was the first time I became aware of a record being like really valuable, like a modern record, like something that wasn't Chungking or Age of Quarrel.
Sure.
Was like, or Division I champs on gold.
On gold, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, they sacrificed a few copies of On Gold to the Jersey Shore when that came out, just so that you couldn't get a
few copies. Yeah, I think it was like hundreds, right?
Something, a significant amount that will never be recovered. Yeah. So they're really rare. But the Drummer Boy American Nightmare version, I forget which color or whatever, but it was like the one, and I remember it being like, oh, this is a commodity. This is something that like people want. Very new to me. But I mean, that thing fucking rips. It holds up. It's incredible. I probably haven't listened to it it came out 23 years ago.
And you know every single second of it.
I probably know every lyric still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't go.
Yeah, that.
Because I've been there before.
7 years before Trapped in Ice came along.
Yeah.
This set the tone for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
This
and those are
Blacklisted Have Heart Ceremony. That was like 2000 to 2007. Mm-hmm. It's a good pick. It's very true.
Thank you.
I'm scared to say this one because I feel like I know it's in your top 5.
Oh, okay.
Which makes me maybe want to hold off on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold off on it because I feel like it might be your number 1, honestly.
Shit. Okay.
This other one too, maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and say this one. Alice in Chains, Jar of Flies.
Oh, see, this is why I asked you if it had to be core. You told me it had to be core.
This is the only one I picked.
Okay, well, that is, I have like a first list and then I made my real one. It's the second. Okay. It's the second one. Go ahead and talk about this and then I will talk about it.
Dude, a commercially successful EP. You know how fucking hard that is to attain? Mm-hmm. And to be like some of the least accessible, but also most accessible music a band has written. Alice in Chains, I feel like, is so unfairly lumped into grunge.
Absolutely.
Because of how fucking hard they are.
So hard.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
What do they like?
I don't know. We gotta talk to Jerry.
We gotta get Big Jerry on here, dude.
Yeah, dude. When I tell my smart device good morning, it turns off my air conditioning that I sleep next to. It turns on some lights, and it plays Jars of Flies every single morning.
Every single day?
Every single day for the last 4 months. For some reason, this and only the first 4 songs, by the way. I don't like the harmonica song, and I don't like the swing song, obviously, because I think,
brother, you know I love a harmonica.
Yeah,
I can't believe harmonica.
It's not even a real harmonica.
Don't care.
Don't care a lot.
A real harmonica is it don't make sense. You don't need all that. You don't need to be breathing into the thing you're playing. Just give me a keyboard. You know what do you got to prove? Just do that.
Rotten Apple, Nutshell, I'll Stay Away.
God, Nutshell.
And what's
No Excuses?
No Excuses. Those 4 songs. God. It's fucking unbelievable.
That's enough to carry a band to success there. Nowadays, if you got a run of 4 tracks alone, you're playing Coachella for the rest of your life.
Unbelievable.
They just did that as like it was like, this is an EP that's going to exist, I guess.
And then when they did the MTV Unplugged thing, they didn't even play all of those songs. And they're like cater made.
They
didn't play Rotten Apple.
No, but they played Nutshell and No Excuses. And God damn. Oh my God.
You can
that
play
version of No Excuses is maybe my single favorite thing they've ever done.
And you could play that, right? On drums?
Oh yeah. I play with Martine at practice all the time.
So that's very impressive to me because it sounds like he's got 8 arms. You know what I mean?
It's not as crazy as it sounds.
It's just syncopated really well.
It's just like he's doing the same thing perfectly every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna do like that, I do have one that I was gonna put that I took off. That is a bigger EP.
I've got one in my top 5.
It's the 9 Inch Nails Broken EP.
See, I expected that from you.
I took it off because of the ruling, but I'm glad that we're doing this now. This won a Grammy.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing they ever wrote.
I think it probably no, I don't agree, but it is incredible.
It's the hardest thing they ever wrote.
It's the hardest. It's like the craziest sounding.
It sounds heavy.
It has crazy lyrics,
and big
fist fuck, and it won a Grammy. Like it's fucking crazy.
That song is hard as fuck for one, and has a big, huge hook.
Yep.
That, in a way that when I heard that, it was like, oh man, I'm gonna love 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, I got you.
And then nothing else really did that for me.
That's interesting to me. I digress.
But maybe you could get me into them. You know, many have tried.
Yeah.
All have really. I love that record, and I like Downward Spiral.
Okay, and you don't.
That's about as far as I.
You don't like Pretty Hate Machine?
No, I do. I like you know,
the
Head
songs.
Like a Hole and a couple tracks. Couple tracks to me.
Couple tracks for sure. Well, I love them, but I accept a couple tracks. The crazy thing about that record is 89.
Yeah.
The same year Outburst, Miles to Go came out. He made Pretty Hate Machine. It's just him. It boggles my mind.
Yeah. You're right.
We kind of got crossed up there. But yeah, Alice in Chains, great. Excellent.
Darflies, perfection, Broken EP, best thing they ever wrote.
And these are our non-hardcore.
I got one in my top 5.
Okay. If it's top 5.
But you'll see, it still kind of counts. Okay. You'll see. Oh man, I'm running low. How many you got before your top 5?
I got 4, and I got some genuine honorable mentions on hand here. Righteous Jams, Boston Straight Edge 7-inch. That's all you need to know. It was, they were called Invasion, and then they changed the name. The lyric goes, Invasion used to be this band, but now we're playing Righteous Jams.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. One of DFJ's just endless fountains.
The God. We got to get him on.
We got to get him on here.
Is every single one of those songs on
Rage of Discipline?
the LP?
I think so. Righteous Jams, Invasion, Scream
they
and
knew
Shout,
what they had.
Where It's Due, Bust It, Righteous Dub. Yeah, they did they did like a reggae song too.
Right.
Which that was another thing where I was a huge Bad Brains guy. And I loved that, I liked that Lions of Judah and like these kinds of bands acknowledged that part of the Bad Brains shit. Because I always, if you don't,
the reggae part of hardcore, the reggae, hardcore's reggae history, checkered past.
What do we say if you skip the fucking reggae songs?
Yeah, if you skip Iron I Survive, put a bullet in your head. Just put it there. Don't shoot yourself.
I saw them tour on this. And the set was so short, people were asking for more, and they were like, we don't have any more songs. So everyone said, well, play them again. And they just played 3 of the songs again.
That's cool.
And it was just as crazy. It was fucking awesome. Colin of Arabia played that show.
Big German energy there.
Very German energy.
Plays him again.
Spielen ein wieder.
Please.
Youth of Today, Disengage 7-inch, their last release. There's a song called Envy, kind of whatever. Modern Love Story, fine. The song Disengage was written as a Judge song.
Wow.
Didn't make the cut.
I had no idea.
Listen to it through that.
I know
through
the
that,
song.
yeah,
I
through
like
that
the
lens,
song.
and you go, this is a Judge song.
Yeah.
There's a build up and
that's why the song fucking rocks.
That's why it rips. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Song is incredible. This is one of the first 7-inches I even bought when I was a youngin'. Cool, full color shit. Sammy is 15 in this picture.
Jesus Christ.
She's a little baby boy. I'll get to another. We'll talk more about Youth of Today in a bit, but the Disengage 7-inch, fucking awesome. Richie playing bass in it at this time. Come on, dude. Come on.
The God. The king. On that note, my next pick. And hear me out here. This is just like that All Out War record, where a band that's been around for so long comes back with their best songs. Into Another, Omens. Holy shit. Dude.
Into Another is a band that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Don't make no sense, but somehow I can't. They're if I don't do drugs, I'm straight edge, you know? But Into Another, I might as well.
Yeah.
When I'm listening to Into Another, I'm high.
Stoned.
I'm out of my mind, dude. It's a religious experience. And I'll never forget this coming out and us listening to it in the van being like, new Into Another came out. Can you believe that? Let's listen to it. And then proceeding to listen to it all night.
And dude, surely expectations were pretty low. When a band comes back, you know.
So they did a show.
Okay.
And it was, they did like the Rev show here.
Right.
And like Peter Moses was back on guitar. And he was the sole guitar player for a long time. So it was like, Peter Moses coming back was like, damn, this is Into Another. I think I think Ryan Downey told me that they do have a new guy who wrote a ton of this, if not all of this.
Oh.
But it was like, damn, Peter Moses is back. Therefore, I'm hopeful to whatever they do next.
Yeah.
And Into Another's interpretation of like what they think that they should sound like now was fascinating enough for us to be like, put it on, let's see what this is. And it is, damn, this is like number 6.
Okay,
for just best EPs. Because to exist for this long and have the awareness to be like, no, what if we just did 5 perfect songs? And it's structured as like, here's this classic song to open it of like, here's what we sound like. And here's what people know we sound like.
Yeah.
And then track 2 to come hard. Big fucking mosh into a big ripping solo.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. And then they put this big ballad and then another classic into another track and then a big, sexy, like sad closer. It is truly Into Another Omens, a perfect modern piece of hardcore
when did that come out?
Metal 2015.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's crazy, dude. It is truly obscenely good. And it just barely doesn't make my top 5.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the singer, Richie, was in Youth of Today. He sang in Underdog. He was involved in all of this shit that we've been talking about. So like to continue on and also talk about a guy who like took risks in like vocally performance wise and it fucking pays off. Like you can't describe Into Another to someone.
No.
You have
and when
to
you
just
try
play
to,
it.
somebody's like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm not listening to that. And they're wrong, and then they're more for me, you know?
Yeah. More Into Another for you. I got one more honorable mention here, and this is not just me sucking you sideways.
Stop.
But when this came out.
Oh, come on, man.
When the Preacher Man 7-inch came out, this is a perfect 7-inch. So, yeah, Preacher Man, Feed Your Disease, and a cover.
Yeah.
That's perfect modern 7-inch.
Well, thanks, man.
I really, truly mean that. That, like, this meant a lot to me. Still does. But, like, that was the thing that made me go, oh, I get what they're doing. I get it now. I had heard Sleep Therapy. I didn't quite get it.
It was rough around the edges. You know,
Michael Hayes did.
Voice wasn't there.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I didn't think it was going to work.
Yeah.
But then it got me. It got me. It got me good.
Well, thanks, man. You know how I feel about No Gods and Blinded.
I do. I was just going through my 7-inches, dude. I got all kinds of. I got Valley shit here. I got all kinds of stuff. 2000 Teamwork Records. Carry On. Roll with the Punches.
Oh my god, dude!
At the time, the fastest guitar playing I'd ever heard.
The fastest music ever recorded.
I couldn't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
Todd's right hand is
Het-esque.
truly like in a league of his own in this genre of music.
I have no argument.
He's crazy.
Carry On, I've talked about many times before. The LP is one of my favorite things that ever came out of hardcore music. But this was the first time I heard Carry On. I can literally I would stare at the cover. I thought it was so cool. And it's like tattoo flash art. It's not that crazy, in the grand scheme.
What's crazy about Carry On is it is both melodic, hardcore, and fuck you straight edge.
So it's kind of American Nightmare, but with more of the straight edge thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Wes sang on the LP. Yeah. So for me,
then big mosh out of nowhere sometimes.
Come on, dude. Off My Chest.
Dude. Woo! Off My Chest is so crazy. Off My Chest as a song is like, you know how in a PG-13 movie you can say fuck one time?
One time, yeah.
That's Off My Chest.
Oh, you're saying like that's the track?
You get every fast like melodic straight edge band gets to go jun 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 in one song per record, and that was decided by Carry On.
And yet,
so if you're listening to this and you're going to start a fast melodic straight edge band, you get to go jun 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 one time per record. Dude, don't waste it.
Carry On, I fucking love Carry On. This is a great hardcore EP, regardless of what came out afterwards.
Sure,
great.
Yeah, like a perfect record coming out afterwards. Didn't even matter.
Didn't even matter. They already...
Because they already had it.
They already had it.
And a ton of the songs are on there.
Yep.
This is a real personal pick for this next one. Disgrace, Songs of Suffering.
Dude. That's an EP.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's perfect.
I fully agree. I legitimately thought it was an LP.
No, it's 6 songs, I think.
Great pick.
Nobody else in the world, no other like collection of guys could have written these songs.
Nope.
The mind of Kyle as a guitar player.
Yeah.
Like pretty much unrivaled in terms of like in like the modern landscape of guitar players and just terms of like technical ability and how he chooses to apply it.
I don't think
because he's so weird.
I don't think people know that.
No, and it's a shame because he's like not out there playing. Forced Order obviously came after Disgrace, and that was where he and Mike really put their heads together to be like, what if we just did a hardcore band?
Yeah.
What would that be like? And again, those riffs are fucking crazy.
Yes.
So that makes sense. But Disgrace was Kyle and Mike writing the craziest songs ever with the goal of writing the craziest songs ever.
With Taylor singing.
Dude, I mean, and Taylor like proving himself as like the reluctant, amazing frontman.
Yeah. Gunnels-esque.
The man did not want to sing.
Gunnels-esque.
Gunnels-esque, truly. Sang because he had to, because there was no other option.
Great pick. I have no argument.
Just one of my favorite bands, period. But like obviously I'm biased.
I remember before you and I were tight when Disgrace, what was the fest in Australia? Gold Coast.
Break the Ice.
Disgrace was playing and there was a video and you're in the background air drumming.
Oh my God.
I just remember thinking like, oh, that's cool. It's his friends, his brother's band. That's nice.
I know every single one of them hits that Mike does on them drums, and every single. I know every single one. I've studied them as if they were my own because I felt it was. Those were my guys.
Yeah, Yeah.
It was like my team is doing another.
That was Twitching Tongues without you. At the time.
It was literally just me. So when we toured together, it was the ultimate
of course.
cheat code. Yeah. Obviously sucked for them. but I would do merch for them as the trade of like, you guys are busy. I'll do this.
Did you keep your tips?
There were no tips at this time.
Okay, fair enough.
Tips are new, dude.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I kept the $8 in tips I got at that time. Now I'd be rich. Yeah, Disgrace, Songs of Suffering, truly so good that how is it going to be understood? You know?
I mean,
by these absolute nincompoops that were running around by that time.
I still don't know those songs that well. You know what I mean? Like I still go, oh fuck, that's right. Like,
how did they do that?
How did they do that?
Yeah. And just like based on what else was popular at that time.
Yeah. Oh,
2012.
Nothing sounded like that.
No, it was too smart. It was too good for their own good, truly. But, and like even them playing it for the children last year, I think they felt like they were, Taylor at least was like, I feel like I'm trying to present my new band to people and I don't want that to be the goal.
Yeah.
You know, it was like he wanted it to be this special thing of like, oh wow, they're playing. And those songs are so technical and heavy and insane that moshing to them is almost like it's too hard to do.
There's what there. I can literally think of like the gun 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 gun. That's like the only time where it's like, and even then they fucking they switch the beat.
There's tons of parts. There's there's mosh part. There's a mosh part in every song.
I'm saying an obvious like.
Yeah, but the like time signatures and the nuances and stuff change so frequently.
Dude, if you guys,
but man,
there's nothing I like more than getting into a band that has few releases because it's less daunting, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is why, like at the time, like when I was young, Beyond Age of Quarrel didn't exist, as far as we were concerned. So it was like, oh, here's this band with like this one perfect record. Yeah. Disgrace has an EP and an LP, and they're fucking
and a split.
And a split. That's right.
Split with Harness, which both of those songs are on the LP. But there's something magical about the split versions, you know?
There always is.
There really is, man. All right, but obviously this is a deeply personal pick for me. But man.
All right, I got one more before top 5.
Okay.
And this one I was torn between, and you know this, or Get an Oxygen Tank. But I went with Mental, Get an Oxygen Tank, Bridge 940. 2003, which is funny because the next in the top 5 that I'm sure you and I both are going to have is also in 2003. So it's just like the kind of hardcore that was around at this time.
Yeah.
Was pretty. There was a lot on the spectrum.
There was a lot. It was, it was a spectrum.
Yeah. HopeCon was out. AN was out. All the Lock and Out shit was out.
It was like dark hardcore. Was reigning, dude. Dark HC was ruling the world, but then you had the AN and the Mental. And
then a pair of fucking Nike Dunks smashed through that window.
It really
Here
did,
came, all of these bands. But yeah, Mental, I saw Mental a bunch around this time. They played Chicago a lot. And they were fucking...
What's Philly to Chicago? Or Boston to Chicago? How long
16
is that?
hours.
Not even close.
No.
It's like me playing Seattle.
Dude, we were just the only place in between. Louisville is a relatively recent thing.
Right.
Even Detroit. It's just, we were just like...
I played some fucking stinkers in Detroit.
We played one together. It was just,
oh my God, that one.
You remember that one?
Dude.
That was a rough one.
That was bottom 3 of the tour, probably.
Yeah. On a rough tour.
Yeah. Holy hell.
I think we were just the only place. And if you're going west or you're going east, like, what are you gonna,
Yeah.
But yeah, they played here a bunch. I saw them at DePaul. DePaul University used to have shows for like 4 years when someone went to college there, and they had so many good fucking shows.
Mental was maybe the first, like Mental shirts being a rare commodity.
Yep.
And it being like a marketplace for Mental shirts was maybe the first time I was aware of kind of what was going on.
I remember hearing about them having a line during bands at Posse Numbers, and that being like,
oh no,
like that was like controversial.
Yeah,
and now unfortunately,
it's normal.
It's normal. Yeah. But they were that band at that time where it was like, they got a new shirt. I got to get it.
Yeah, new Mental shirt.
Yeah.
I'll kill myself if I don't own it.
Are
we
5.
In top 5?
Yeah, hit me, dude. And this is any order, right?
I know. I have them.
You have them in order?
I kind of have them in order.
I can do it.
I have a hard number 1, but that I think is like the best hardcore EP, period.
I know there are 2 that we're going to have. I know.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Hit me with 5.
Okay. Grimlock, Thirst for Immortality. It's the reason we're talking right now.
Yep.
It is the sole reason that this show exists at the end of the day. You know,
The first domino
that led me to Bo, that led HardLore to be on your fucking YouTube screen or in your ears right now. I heard the bell for Mountain of Power with Taylor Young in a car, in the back seat of a car together. And it didn't matter that it wasn't like the cleanest. At this point in my life, as a literal child, this is the least polished music I'd ever heard.
Yeah. Might as well have been noise. Harsh.
It might as well have been noise, but all I knew is it was going jun 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 jun. And I knew, and Taylor knew, whatever that just was that we heard is all we want. So, Aaron Young, please show us more. And Aaron would be like, I don't listen to that. Here's some other things that my friends left behind. And then Taylor started his voyage of discovering things, and I got what was left behind.
Yeah.
And what was shared with me by him. But this was it. This Thirst for Immortality was the thing that led us on this path.
Beautiful. I love that. I'll do that now. The only official EP that wasn't a single release by a band I know you and I both love was the Misfits, Beware.
Wow.
It's technically a comp, but it's an EP. It's got We Are 138, Bullet, Hollywood Babylon, Attitude, Horror Business, Teenagers from Mars, Last Caress.
Those are like the best punk songs ever.
Ever.
Like, period. Yeah.
Literally ever. This was...
How can you even argue that?
Plan 9, 1980. And these were all re-recorded.
Oh my God, dude.
They're it, dude.
Yeah.
The
That's
Misfits,
the best punk band ever.
They're fucking it. And this is obviously a
Holy
bootleg.
shit.
A certain record store I go to puts out these like unnamed bootlegs. It's really funny. Like, that didn't happen. But
look how little the 7-inch is. Look how little the like amount of music there is. That's insane.
Yeah. It's the best.
white part is so big.
Huge. The label is huge.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's technically the only EP. It's a comp, whatever. You know, they were doing what they had to do. This is before Doyle was even in the band. This is Bobby Steele.
All right.
I love the Misfits. Big domino band for me. It probably legitimately goes Blink-182, Misfits. And that is kind of what started. Because they were doing everything else. There's a letter that was on Misfits Central, because I used to fucking obsess over it, where he sends Walk Among Us to Al Baril from SSD and says, share this with all the boys. Meaning like all the Boston dudes.
Yeah.
And being the fucking mark that I am for that kind of shit, that, you know, it all ties in.
Put the whole perspective in.
It all ties in for me.
So Misfits and Danzig were a Nate Levelt put me on to type thing.
Really?
Where it was like, I got into them backwards because I showed him Typo and he's like, just so you know, you like Danzig. And it was like, I don't want, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I've tried, man. I've heard Mother. It's fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then Her Black Wings, like I was, it was like, this is the best music I've ever heard.
That's my favorite Danzig song.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
And then I go back further and I'm like, okay, well, where's the DNA of this come from? And like Sam Hain, couple tracks.
Couple tracks, for sure.
Those tracks are amazing.
Yeah.
But couple.
You get it.
You get it. And then just every Misfits song is good.
That's so surprising to me that you like the Misfits.
I think they're the best punk band.
They are. It just doesn't make it doesn't track.
But think about this.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, my house is decorated for Halloween already.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah. I got you.
It's September 4th. I'm here.
Yeah.
The lyrics are so stupid and insane and awesome. Mm-hmm. The songs are still aggressive.
Still aggressive.
The melodies.
I mean,
are groundbreaking and like, you remember every single one?
Every single one.
They had no idea what they were doing or what they had, and yet they did it.
There's a few people who I consider like alternative musical geniuses.
Yeah.
Who like they didn't just stumble on something, they like repeatedly did it. Danzig's one. Peter Steele's
he reinvented himself 3 times.
Yeah.
And like
found greater success
pioneered something each time.
And then did a reunion with his first band that made more money than surely any other punk band has ever made at once.
Ever.
Peter Steele's one of them. Trent Reznor, I would say, is probably one of them.
Sure. I mean, Trent Reznor, the film score composer, that's my dog, dude. I'll take the Social Network score over any
Nine Inch Nails record.
Period.
But yeah, the Misfits are so important to me. That's a Chris Mills put me onto thing for sure. Chris Mills and my friend Tom DeLonge. But yeah, Misfits, Beware. That's my number 5.
Very good. Very nice. My number 4 would be Stigmata, Hymns for an Unknown God.
That's an EP.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's long.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's probably 30 minutes. But it's 7 songs.
And you're giving me shit over Dropping Many Stars?
Yeah, but it's 7 songs, you know? If it's a CD, if you buy a 7-song CD, you'd be like, I just bought the new CD EP from Stigmata.
True.
The point in my life in which I found this, to this day, I say is like, this is the thing that I found. Taylor showed me just damn near everything else.
But
I found Stigmata.
Gotcha.
For me, it was like, I had this secret thing that was like, damn, nobody I know listens to this.
Dude, and that tracks so well for you too, because there's some melody in there.
Yeah.
And it's very hard.
The solos are like
good.
How are they doing?
Yeah.
What is this? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
Playing a solo over like the mosh section of the song, where you're like, oh, the whole 3-minute opening track leads to a solo, and that's where you're going. Production produced by Harley Flanagan.
Is that true?
Yes, dude.
I didn't know that.
It's fucking awesome.
I didn't know that.
And who knows what that actually means?
Yeah, of course. But he's got producer credits.
He's got production credit. He's got produced by Harley Flanagan credit.
Wow.
Like, I think I've said this on the show several times now, but if you Google Hymns for an Unknown God lyrics, you'll see that I submitted them wherever they are. I typed them up from the booklet.
Really?
And sent them in. So this is important music to me, just because it like affirmed me on my journey of like, okay, there's things out there for me to discover. And like the feeling of sharing that with Taylor, of being like, dude, I found something. Like I finally make me understand how he maybe felt that whole time.
Gotcha.
Of being my old head and being like, listen to this, and this. There you go. Where I had a thing to be like, oh, dude.
Did he was there any resistance, or was he just like,
no,
you did it?
No. Yeah, he was definitely just like,
that's awesome.
Where the fuck was this?
Yeah.
And I think that's how I felt too, in the sense of like, what else is out there? How do I find it? How do I start finding it? I wish HardLore existed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, now you got this.
Jesus Christ.
All right, number 4 for me. We're going way back. We're going back to Boston. I'm shipping off to Boston.
Ship it up. Dropkick Murphys, you're gonna put that on?
No. Before Slapshot was Negative Effects. Before Negative Effects was Last Rites. Last Rites put out one record. Last Rites played one show. Wow. The record has 2 songs. This release has 2 songs. There was a later on, like, kind of a comp thing. Chunks and So Ends Our Night. Chunks might be the hardest punk sounding song, and So Ends Our Night has the Coca-Cola "We don't drink no booze, no way" line.
Yeah.
And the song is all about like, we went out looking for trouble and we didn't find anything, so we're just gonna hang out. Like, it's literally
Drink
about
soda?
like, we went out looking for a fight, didn't find anything. Oh well.
Let's get some sodas.
Let's get some Coke. Some Coca-Cola.
Sold.
You know what I mean? It's
Chunks may be the most like top 5 covered song I've ever seen.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, they covered it out of This Is Hardcore, or covered it. Slapshot played it.
Yeah.
And I was very happy because I got to see him sing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, But dude, it's fucking hard. If you look up Last Rites, there's a regrettable album cover with a certain dictator.
Sure.
But that was just
the band name's
thing.
amazing.
The band name's incredible.
Yeah.
And the other record cover is him with the hockey stick, shirtless. And it's everything I like about that style of hardcore at the time.
Sure.
Last Rites, Tang Records, 1984. Wow. Enough said.
2 songs.
2 songs.
That's so crazy.
On the Chunks. So it's literally called Chunks So Ends Our Night 7-inch. That's the name of it.
Oh, it's like
That's it.
That's awesome. My number 3, Bo.
You're going to do it to
Slayer, Hell Awaits.
Wow. That's an EP.
dude. Think about it. What is that, 7 songs?
I never realized that was an EP. Hell Awaits. Dude, the fucking...
Dude. Do you know a single person who heard this as like a child or a teenager and wasn't immediately different after?
I heard a band from here called Left Hand Path, or maybe it was Undo Tomorrow. They're kind of the same band. Andrew Morrissey was in both. Heard them open with it when I was pure Youth Crew, like full. This is when Double Cross was playing. We played the same show. And I was like, what is that? They played that and Among the Living by Anthrax. And I was like,
that's awesome.
What is this? I need to know what that is. And they were like, oh, this is Slayer. And I was like, I know South of Heaven and I know Raining Blood. This is that? And no. So to answer your question, no. And it is life affirming, life altering, straight up metal music. I had no fucking idea that was an EP.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's no Metal Blade Records today without this, for sure. I would say Hell Awaits probably the reason we were like, yeah, we'll sign to Metal Blade.
Oh, nice.
This and Cannibal Corpse and
Google Dolls for
King
us.
Diamond.
You know?
Yeah.
Google Dolls for us, for sure. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. Strong.
Also, like, the line between this and the hardcore music that I like and write is very thin too. We're all just going
yeah, dude.
Hell Awaits is Marauder.
Holy shit, very well put. Hell Awaits is Take by Force. Like it's literally the same monochromatic kind of riff.
It's the same scale, same notes. We're all doing Hell Awaits.
Very good.
If you're doing Marauder, you're doing Hell Awaits, and Lord knows I'm doing Marauder.
All right, number 3 for me. And I know this is on yours, so let's just say it. We're going to do it together.
Sure.
Lowest of the Low, Terror.
So here's the thing, man.
Ah, come on.
I've never in my life considered it an EP.
I thought it was an EP until I became aware a while ago, years ago, that it was in fact an EP. And the reason that I know that, and I know you're going to hate this, I had a 10-inch version of it.
Sure. Hate a 10-inch.
I know you do. But I had a European
16 minutes
10-inch.
long.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Bo, I didn't look up nothing, and I know it's 16 minutes long.
Very well put.
9 tracks, 16 minutes.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
We've talked.
It is EP or not.
Yeah.
It's one of the, if I could be the best hardcore record ever.
I think it is. I think it's legitimately dropping many suckers in this.
Wow.
Like those are well, I'm saying EPs, but I think that I think I get in on a technicality here and I'm fine with that. It is fucking perfect.
It is absolutely perfect.
It is a genre.
It is a perfect collection of hardcore songs by arguably the best hardcore band to ever exist.
It's a genre defining thing. It's kind of a city defining thing.
Oh,
like
dude.
a coastal defining, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like we're
dude.
talking.
Because think about what California hardcore was before this. It was
Throwdown
melodic punk.
and like Throwdown and Strife. Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And I never identified with either of those as like, that's my thing.
That's your thing. Yeah. I got you.
Terror is, like you said in the liner notes, recorded in the fucking valley.
Yeah.
That's, I could cry right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't think there's any argument for like the impact that they've had, the longevity that they've so wisely crafted for themselves.
Yeah.
You want to talk about road dogging?
You want to talk about still going and still writing? There's a song on every LP that could be argued is their best song. Ooh. Every time.
I love it.
They just keep doing it.
It's the only one on my list written in all caps. Bridge 9 Records, 34, the year of 2003.
1 year after the demo. Think about that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's...
Yeah. And that's, Todd Jones has a thread in a lot of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Like, period.
He is a hardcore songwriting god.
And this is when I fully became aware of him. As like, oh, that's that guy. Like this is because he was in the line. He's on the back yelling, not into a mic, which
Just
I thought
yelling.
was really fucking cool. You know what I mean? And I found Terror before Buried Alive or anything else that Scott had done. So it was my intro to like him, and like that's a whole other conversation. It's like his fucking impact and what he's done. So can't believe it. I think it counts as an EP. I'm taking it.
Whatever it is, they're the best hardcore band ever. Whatever lowest the low is, yeah. Perfect. It's a perfect thing.
Okay.
Period. My number 2. Hatebreed, Under the Knife.
Wow. Yeah.
Is this on your top? Is this in your top 5?
This is the last one where I was like, I know I don't have to write this down. I know it's going to be in his.
I mean, again, these are life-changing songs. Period.
I mean, we talked to Jamie. You heard that Not One Truth was the first song.
Fucking hell, dude.
And
it's just a thing you read in a museum.
Yeah.
He's like, that's pretty cool. I think I'll make a career out of it. and you know what's crazy? The craziest thing about Hatebreed maybe is the simplicity of some of the songs, but the brilliant simplicity in them, in that nobody really has ever sounded like Hatebreed.
Like that they were the first to sound like that?
Yeah. Well, even to this day, I don't think, like, obviously you can be like, oh, this is influenced by Hatebreed. But you can't really sound like Hatebreed.
No.
You can try.
You can basically.
But it just sounds wrong.
You can just like reverse engineer their riffs.
Yeah.
And
that's the only way.
And that's the only way. And then it'll be too on the nose. Like it's that. Yeah, I totally agree.
True pioneers. I would argue that they're like the biggest hardcore band of all time until maybe Turnstile.
Yeah.
And for great reason, man. They engineered the band to be a successful entity. They like a Danzig in the context of the band reinvent themselves with the times in a way that doesn't compromise the band and what it sounds like entirely.
Wow.
Because they still, like, you put on a new record on, it sounds like Hatebreed.
Yeah.
It'll sound like a modern interpretation of it with, modern production, and it's cleaner.
Yeah.
But it's still there because Jamie's writing is so Jamie's writing at the end of the day.
I would say, not to backtrack, but that also could be said for Terror too.
Yeah.
They're putting
Which
out
is
a
interesting
song.
because there's been different guys writing those
Exactly.
songs.
But
Nick
is
the steady thread, and dude, Nick is a legit, like, brilliant hardcore punk musician.
But putting out a song with Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like that kind of shit where it's like you can reinvent, you can re-display yourself almost. Yeah. And then Hatebreed, very similar to Terror 2, doing tours that are kind of out there, kind of eclectic, kind of not in the normal wheelhouse that you would think.
Right.
But it works.
Well, Hatebreed can be direct to support to anybody.
To literally any band.
They could be a direct support to The Devil Wears Prada,
Alice
to
in Chains,
Bring Me the Horizon.
Pantera. Yeah.
Pantera.
Yeah.
And then they could bring anybody on tour and it makes sense. And they do be bringing some crazy mixes of bands on tour that work. They're this like magical thread that binds all spectrums of extreme music. Because like you said, Eric Rutan listened to Perseverance for a year when it came out.
Yep.
I guarantee you the Bring Me the Horizon motherfuckers spin kicked to Perseverance before.
Here's my number 2. And if you're down to your last one, this isn't it, I'm like truly shocked. But maybe it's because you're a later record guy of this band. AFI, All Hallows EP.
So this is the one I didn't say earlier.
Okay.
Because I knew it would be on.
This is... I don't know if there's more of a second for second, more perfect collection of noise.
It's fucking crazy.
It is perfect.
Yeah.
Nitro Records, October 1999.
Nitro Records. That's the homie Offspring, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Asshole.
Was this the first? Did Jade play on Black Sails?
Yeah.
He did play on Black Sails.
Yeah.
Okay. So never mind.
He did, right?
I'm looking at it now. Guitar, yeah, he did. Okay, I'm just making sure. I didn't want to say it was the first thing he played guitar on. But for me, it's like the first, like, in Black Sails, you can hear the like AFI chord. The like, boing, it's kind of like a bar chord minor. Like you can hear it.
Yeah.
This was the first time where it was like, what if we strum that chord and we write a whole EP, 3 songs with a cover, based around each individual note, like in that chord. Because every song kind of does it. There's a music video for Total Immortal where they just painted their practice space black and have pumpkins lit up and film it in black and white. Davey looks fucking insane.
Yeah.
He looks like a monster. The songs are perfect. The Boy Who Destroyed the World might be my favorite song on the thing.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It was on fucking Tony Hawk. Like,
yeah.
They cover the Misfits. They wear
the Misfits. They really took that's theirs.
That's theirs. They wore their influence so hard on their sleeve on that. And it's such
I love.
And as we were talking about before, it's a perfect little stepping stone to before Art of Drowning.
Yeah.
It's like even from the artwork to the sound, I don't know if it was recorded at the same time or not, whatever. It's a perfect use of what an EP is.
No, 100%. It's like, hey, by the way, this is what we are now. This is where we're going.
Yeah.
And here's like a real perfect presentation of songs. Dude, this thing's crazy. I feel like this maybe would have been in my top 5 had I not known it was 1 or 2 for you. But man, finding this was another thing where I felt like I struck gold. It was like, this is AFI.
Yeah.
Because I found it after hearing Sing the Sorrow.
Really?
Because I heard Sing the Sorrow first. When it came out, I was what?
Yeah.
12, 13?
It makes perfect sense.
So I went back to this and it was like, damn, they're just a fast punk band, but they're still doing these big, sexy choruses.
Yeah.
Also,
sing-along parts.
I'm a sucker for... there's the kind of a thin line between when the whoa, basically. Using a whoa as like the part of the song is like, we're building to this whoa.
Which can suck. It can fall flat.
Can suck, man. It can be some pre-Terror California bullshit, you know? Where I just don't care.
Yep.
AFI did it in this way that is like... The word spooky has become so derogatory now. But I'm all about it.
But I mean, yes, it's become
the time and place here. You know what you're getting into with the All Hallows EP.
Came out
and
October.
The fact that they were able to keep that going for this whole little thing, completely front to back, aesthetically, sonically, dude, this thing rocks.
It is perfect. Yeah. Fall Children, Total Immortal, Boy Who Destroyed the World, Halloween, the cover.
Incredible.
Samples in between each song.
Yeah.
Weird, creepy, like noise box shit and like thunderstorms. It's just like everything about it is perfect. I truly like. Chris Mills is a huge AFI guy.
Yeah.
He got me into AFI and into the Misfits, which is like there's a domino. So it's Chris, like I said, Chris and Tom DeLonge.
Your old heads.
Those are my old heads. And I knew about before I knew about pre All Hallows, you know. And then kind of discovered it shortly thereafter because I got into it probably 2000. It came out in October 99. So it's like right there.
It was a new record.
It was a relatively new record. Yeah. And it was immediate. And that was around the time too, where you could find shit on Kazaa or LimeWire.
Yeah. So four songs on Kazaa, you know, it might have taken you 8 hours to download them.
I mean,
but you can listen to 4 fucking songs.
Yeah.
And you're going to finish those 4 songs and be like, I got to hear those again.
I'm learning them. I learned how to play Fall Children immediately. I learned how to play God Called In Sick Today immediately, you know, when that record came out. That's one of my warm-up riffs. It's a fun one. Yeah. Wow. Cool song. I can't say enough about it. It's just perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best bands, period.
Period.
My number 1, Bo. The best hardcore EP of all time.
Oh.
And I'm kind of saying this I don't know if this is subjective anymore.
Okay. If it's not,
I think this is the best hardcore EP,
not under
period.
the knife. I'm very
Breakdown, Blacklist.
Perfect. Great. There's a point when I was talking about New York bands where I was like, fuck, if we don't mention Breakdown.
It's number 1. It's the best one ever.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Again, production.
Crazy.
Songs. Lyrics. The motherfucker's singing about Big Macs, Bo. He's watching a street fight, eating a Big Mac.
That's all I want.
Think about me hearing that.
Eating what?
Yeah, I was like, I spit out my Big Mac because I couldn't believe what he said.
Yeah.
I don't think this is on streaming, right?
I don't believe so.
Dude, stop what you're doing. Stop listening to this.
Go and
find a way
YouTube. It's
to
on
download
YouTube,
it.
for sure.
What?
It's on YouTube for sure.
Okay, look it up on YouTube. Breakdown Blacklisted, full LP. Listen to the whole thing. Street Fight and Jail Depression. Good God, dude. Two of the greatest hardcore songs ever written. But front to back, this entire record is sonic hardcore perfection.
The band's called Breakdown.
Breakdown, dude.
What else? What do you need more?
Also, in the first song, Blacklisted, title track, he says Breakdown Blacklisted as an actual lyric in the song. That's fucking all I ever wanted.
That came out 97.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy that like Division 1 champs 96.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Eyeball Records 1997. That's fucking crazy.
It is the best hardcore EP ever written. Period.
Outstanding.
And a sentence. I don't think that is an opinion. I think it's a fact. Like if you define what an EP is and what it should be and what it could be.
Yeah.
And especially if you're factoring in like production and the way it sounds.
Sounds awesome.
It sounds modern.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not in a shitty way, you know?
Bands would
in like
pay a lot of money to sound like that today.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And they don't get it. It don't happen.
Don't do it.
Because this is a magic thing. This is Mike DeJean at his best.
What did he go on to be in?
Crown of Thorns was before this. Both Trainyard Blues and Mentally Vexed are before this. Mike DeJean.
Yeah.
Maybe like to me, in terms of what I've listed here, could possibly be the hardcore riffer of all time.
Wow.
So, Mike DeJean, if you're listening, put that in your back pocket, take it with you, hold it up with pride. Breakdown Blacklisted, the greatest hardcore EP of all time.
I've got my number 1.
And I see a 12-inch.
So this is only because the original is fucking $1 billion. So I got a re-release that added another song and they bumped it up to a 12-inch. Youth of today can't close my eyes to the surprise of no one. But Here's what's cool about it. It's 1985, which is fucking crazy.
That's absolutely insane.
The Can't Close My Eyes EP came out on Positive Force Records, which was Kevin Second's record label.
Wow.
So they were huge. So there's a great story. They were on tour together. I don't know if it was Youth Today yet or if it was, if they were still Violent Children was like their first band, but they played a couple shows with 7 Seconds. The other guys in 7 Seconds like got high or whatever. And Kevin I don't think he ever called himself straight edge, but he was clean.
Kevin Seconds is one of the funniest nicknames of all time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they were all bummed on that. And I'm going to fuck up which band it was, but he said, why don't you guys, Ray and Porcel, ride with me to the next show? And they just listened to either a Misfits record that had just come out on tape or some record together. They listened to it together and like drove together. And that's where they decided, let's put out a record together, kind of a thing. So this one it's kind of a comp. It's kind of like a collection of a bunch of their songs, but like you're not going to be able to see it because of my green screen. But Ray has a shirt on with just an X spray painted on his chest. 1985.
So is this is considered an EP? Can't Close My Eyes?
Can't Close My Eyes was an EP. This is like a repress that came out on Rev much later that added extra songs to it, but it's the original EP first. And it's got all the heavy hits. And it's just like, it was the beginning of what would go on to be all the shit that I love.
Sure.
So it's just, and I've said this before, it's so fast and so fucking crazy sounding that it's borderline power violence.
And it's 85.
It's got it's got the shit I like. It's all about straight edge. It's got We Just Might on it. It's like everything that I love about that era.
Yeah, that's Bo personified.
All of it is on Can't Close My Eyes. I saw, and just like a tie back into like one of my later things, I saw Mental cover Can't Close My Eyes at like a Last Minute Basement show. So it was like, there was all this threading back to this shit. And there's X's all over this shit. It was made for me. Made.
Love that.
He's wearing an SSD control shirt. It's just made for me.
So that was, I mean, you now have, the listener, have like 50 something EPs to seek out. This is going to be a crazy Spotify playlist if any of these songs.
How are we going to do it?
You know, we'll see if we even can. We'll do what we can.
Yeah.
But this was fun.
I love doing stuff like this because I think it not only shows people shit to check out if they might not know it, but you and I have such different answers.
We do. I definitely wish I knew just more information about all these things to share when I share them. Mm-hmm. But if anything, it's just fuel for you to look it up and find some things to share with us. Because there was no hard lore when we were kids. We had to find all this shit ourselves.
It was Bridge 9 lore,
which was dark and seedy and dangerous. Those are our picks for the best hardcore and et cetera EPs of all time.
I think we did about 20 each total.
Yeah, because we repeated some.
Yeah.
We both had some. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Still, there's a lot of shit.
There's a lot.
I listen to all of this to this day.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude. Some of it, admittedly, not in a minute, but like fucking AFI Terror.
Yeah. This entire list was just me taking notes off the top of my head based on things I still listen to. So,
yeah.
And I heard some of this when I was 10 years old.
That's crazy.
So this if you're finding some of this today, it could stick with you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if you're an older guy, you're listening to this and you want to shoot us in the head, that's fine.
It's fine.
But it's our show and we get to do what we want.
I have a microphone.
These are our favorite EPs of all time. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. We love you so much. Bye.
Bye.